Ex-mobster on what Diddy faces in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Thank y'all so much for coming over. I'm very curious to know what he has to say now. I reacted to a video of Gene Deal talking about Diddy, what it's going to look like for him in prison. We do know that Diddy still got some money because his bail was denied. You know, he was trying to get bail for $50 million. They denied it, so he still has some money, even though he had to pay his lawyers and stuff. But like I said, I think, you know, for as far as protection goes, because, you know, guys in jail, they hate like the domestic stuff. If you come to jail for domestic stuff or anything with kids, you will have a big target on your back in jail. So like I said, I think Diddy, with the money he has, can pay for protection or try to negotiate that he be put somewhere separate to where these 2 years will be a breeze for him. But let's see what he has to say. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
Obviously, he's disappointed, although he really shouldn't be. I think, you know, a 4-year sentence here with already credit for the year or so that he has in, I think he did very well with respect to all of the drama and all of the circumstance around this trial. You know, there was a lot of bad stuff out there, and I'm not saying I'm not passing judgment on that, but it just looked really bad. And he could have gotten up to 10 years or 11 years. So I think the judge, you know, took everything into consideration. I think his family today made a very good plea for him, you know, and I think he did very well. That's my opinion.
So, what in your experience, like your own experience and other, you know, inmates that you've seen go through it and then show back up at the, you know, the cell block, how do they take this? Do they bury their head in the pillow and cry, or do they keep their head held high and just pack up their stuff and wait for their assigned new prison? Like, tell me everything.
Well, everybody's different. I'm sure he went back was somewhat disappointed. So he's probably, you know, dwelling on that. Hey, it could have been differently. Maybe I should have gotten out. Maybe he's a little bit upset, a little bit angry. I get it. All those emotions come into play. But right now, you know, he's got to get ready. He'll spend a couple of weeks there until they designate him to a new facility. And he'll be a lot better off in prison than he is in the federal jail. You know, at least there you can move around and you got some freedom on the yard and things like that. You know, my thought is he'll collect himself, get himself together. You know, there are ways for him to improve himself. You know, they have the Bureau of Prisons now has a drug program. And if you're allowed to get into that drug program, you can knock as much as 18 months off your sentence. Now, I don't know if he'll qualify, if they'll allow him to go in, but he'll probably start to think about, okay, what can I do to reduce my time now? That's what everybody thinks when you get in there.
Months?
Is there any way we can better ourselves? He's thinking.
Knock 18 months off? Oh, he definitely probably going to do that. They're probably advising him to. Sheesh.
About what facility they're going to send him to. I'm sure he spoke to his lawyers and he asked his lawyers to put in a facility that's close to his home, close to his family, a low or medium level. I don't think he'll get into a camp.
Can you though? Does your request actually count? I mean, I thought the feds just put you where it works for them. I didn't think you had a say in it.
Well, here's the thing. The judge, you could ask the judge to recommend. The Bureau of Prisons doesn't have to go along with the judge's recommendation, but it does help a little bit. They do try to sometimes satisfy the judge's request. You can put in a request, and sometimes they'll honor it, sometimes they won't. You know, it's really up to them. They're not bound by anything at that point in time. So, but he's wondering now, hoping which facility he gets into. I don't think he'll get into a camp only because he's high profile. Even though his sentence qualifies him for a camp, it's a low security, sentence. But my feeling is he'll get into at least a medium because he's so high profile.
Is the camp the lowest security and therefore more paddle and tennis and all the other things and what they call, like, you know, Club Fed or Camp Cupcake?
Yeah, they moved me to a camp by accident at one point, and you know, there's no fences or anything like that, and I wasn't there for too long because they realized they made a mistake and put me back in the medium security. But they tell you when you get there, listen, there's no fences. If you want to leave, you can leave, but when we catch you, we're going to add another 5 years onto your sentence.
Jeez.
And while I was in that camp for 2 months, each month somebody ran away. I mean, they always try to do that. But yeah, he's thinking of that. Yeah, he's thinking of that. But a medium security is not
Wait,
that
so
bad.
let me quickly go back though. Go back to that piece about he's high profile, so he won't get a camp. Why wouldn't he? I thought in a camp nobody's going to shank him because again they want out.
The overriding factor there, I believe, is he's a guy with a lot of money. And I'll tell you, this happened to me when I went in there because of the profile I had, because of the way they wrote me up. I had everybody and their brother inmate trying to do a deal with me when I got out, a business deal. They need money. Because of the fact that he's a money guy, I think he's going to have more friends than he will enemies. And in a medium security.
That is exactly what I said. I'm pretty sure y'all knew that too. Money goes a long way in prison as far as commissary. You can get the best of the best. At one point they said he was kind of allegedly running the prison. So I think, unless you got some people in there, and of course you do, people who'll be mad that he has this money. Just like on the outside, people hate on people that have money, but in jail, it's like 10 times worse. But again, if you do anything knowing that can be added to your sentence, but I don't know how much time these guys that he's going to be around have, but I ain't saying that his life wouldn't be in jeopardy in there. I'm just saying prison isn't going to be as hard for him as it would be for others.
Normally, nobody's looking to shank you. When you get into the higher institutions, when people are doing, a ton of time and there's no way you can benefit them, then you got a little more problem. But in a
Right.
medium security, I don't think he'll have an issue at all. I really don't. He can be too much of a benefit to inmates that are always looking for something, and he could be a golden ticket for some people, at least in their mind.
Right.
I could just talk to you for hours and hours, but I have some other guests lined up, so I got to say bye there. But Michael Francis, thank you so much for being on again. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Yeah. But I mean, you never know, right? You never know. Somebody might be like, man, F this. Just looking at some of the comments here. One law for the rich and one law for the poor. That's the life. Money speaks louder than common sense. Diddy should have got more time. So much evidence. This country has become a joke. Sentence was a joke. It's a circus. People get more jail for speeding. System is rotten. He got off easy. 4 years was a gift. Yeah. He's only sad he got caught. Someone said the judge was compensated. Best judge money could buy. Yeah, man. It is very weird and strange to me, though, when you go back and you listen to how the judge was talking in the beginning. It really seemed like he was leaning more towards that 5 to 7 years. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, because I know, like, the way his lawyers was talking, they were probably looking like, look, there's a possibility that you can get out today. So that probably got in his head, and he's like, wow, like, could I be released today? And when he got hit with that 50 months, I know he was like, damn. To us, that's like man, that he really got off easy. But in his mind, he don't want to be in there no more. Like, he probably thought there was a high chance that he was getting out that day on the 3rd. But 2 years and some change. We'll see what happens after that. But I would not be shocked or surprised if it was like breaking news. Diddy got into a fight in jail or something. Because I feel like somebody might test the waters and try to come after him. Appreciate y'all coming over and watching. Peace out.